Alright everyone, this is Brandon again, and here's part 3 of the Death 3D map editor tutorial. As you can see, we're kind of starting where we left off here, and today I'm... Oops, ignore that. Today I'm just going to show you adding some ceilings in there and messing with the height map some more, because the height maps is one of the most complicated parts of the map editor, and so we're just going to go over a little more of that. The first thing I'm going to do, if you watched the last part, you kind of remembered we just have a big open sky, a star field as our ceiling. I'm going to switch that up a bit. To get to the ceiling, if you see these 3 dots down here, you click on the top one and that puts you in ceiling editor mode. And I'm just going to take a white texture and I'm going to border this room right here for ceiling. Maybe that'll look good, maybe it won't. And in this other room I'm going to completely cover it. And let's see, just to mix it up a little bit, I'm going to put a ceiling on this last row in this front room. Let's see what that looks like before we mess with it. Custom map. Okay, so you can see I now have this ceiling over here. One thing to keep in mind on Death 3D maps is everything is a 1x1 block. And so the engine does not have the capability to put in a ceiling that is small, like this floor here. So just keep that in mind when you're designing your levels. Remember, there's a guy in here. Alright, so we have this room here with a regular ceiling, and out here we have a as you can see what we did here. Now I'm going to change the height maps of the ceilings a little bit to give this a little different look and feel. So let's head back to the map editor. The first thing I want to do in this room, if you remembered, the ceiling right on top of the door and in the room itself was the same height. I think it looks a little better if the actual room is a little taller than the doorway. So what I'm going to do is right click just anywhere in that room. And this only works if you're on the tool, one of the ceiling, mid, or floor tools. So I'm going to right click on here, and where it says ceiling Y, that represents the ceiling height. And it's at 1.0 right now, and I'm just going to bring that up to 1.2. And then to easily clone that, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and say clone values, and then everywhere that's highlighted green here will have that same ceiling height. And so I'm going to clone all those values. To get out of this painting mode, I'm just going to click over here again. Then we're going to save this and take a look at it, and I'll show you the difference. Custom map again. Alright, it's kind of dark in here, but as you can see now, this room has a different height than the doorway. And so I think that just makes it look a lot nicer. We can probably put a light in here too. We got our TV in the corner. I also want to put some hinges textures on this door to make that look a little nicer. And what I'm also going to do is under here I'm going to put some ceiling lights, and so that'll look a little cooler, I think. So let's go back to our level editor. But as you can see, since everything needs to be 1 block high, since I raised that up, the engine put another block on top of there to compensate for that. So our room over there is even taller now. So I'm going to go back to the level editor. And I said on this row I wanted to have ceiling lights, so I'm going to right click on that again, and I'm going to find the ceiling bottom texture, and I'm going to put this light texture right here. And you can't clone the ceiling bottom texture, so I got to do that one at a time. And you can't see it because my head's in the way here, so let me move myself. You have this bar up here. When you hover over things, it gives you an indication of what the textures are. So if I hover over here, you can see that I have that ceiling light texture that I put in there. And of course, if you're doing this on mobile, you can't do that, but just cover that up again. And I'm going to go ahead, I said I was going to put hinge textures on this door, so I'm going to right click on there, And so I'm going to say in the side east texture, I'm going to put this door hinge. And over here I'm going to say the side west texture. I'm going to put that hinge. And maybe this doorway would look better with a light shining down on the top. So I can do the ceiling bottom texture on that and put this light. And I think it might also look nicer if I go to the door itself, and on the north and the south I can do a custom wall light map. And so on the north wall I'm going to do this, it's called the top down light map. I'm going to put that on the south wall also. And you're going to see in a second what that does. These light maps are better than actually adding physical lights to the game because they don't impact the performance as much. So let's go back into our custom map and see what we've done. Alright. Unfortunately, my light map didn't work, so that's a bummer. But you can see my ceiling lights and my lighting in this room here. And you can see my hinge textures. I don't know why the texture I tried to put on the door didn't work. That kind of makes me look like a fool, but that's neither here nor there. We'll just fiddle with this map a little more. This room here, I think we needed a little more lighting. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to a ceiling texture that looks like, which one should I use? Let me use this one. And I'm going to put it on a ceiling. And right where I put that, I'm going to right click and raise the ceiling even more so that that light is offset or inset. 1.3 is probably good. And then I'm going to put a light bulb in there. And then I'm going to click on my light, and I'm going to raise the height of my light to 1.2, which is just below the ceiling that I put in there. And let's see how that looks. Save. Quit. Go to single player, custom map, and let's test that thing out. So you can see it's light in my room now, and we got my light fixture up there. It's inset from the ceiling, and it's emanating the light from the light bulb I put in there, so this room looks a lot nicer now. And yeah, I think that's all I'm going to do in this video. What we covered here is messing with the adding ceilings, adjusting the height map of the ceilings. You can do the same thing with the floor. For another look at that, you can look at the part 2 video I did where we adjusted the height of this floor and we put this vent in there. And so yeah, take a look at what we did, play around with it, and see what kind of maps you can make on Death 3D. And next time we'll do another tutorial and see what more we can add to this little level. But until then, thanks for watching.